The morning sun hit the towering glass facade of the financial district, reflecting a cold light off the polished marble of the Evergreen Wealth Bank. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with the scent of expensive perfume and the hum of high-stakes transactions. It was a cathedral of finance, where the air felt exclusive, as if you needed a certain net worth just to breathe. Into this temple of gold stepped Elena Vance. She didn't look like the woman who built this empire from the ground up. To the casual observer, she was just an elderly woman in a frayed wool coat and simple shoes. Her hair was pulled back in a bun, and she carried a modest purse that had seen better decades. Elena wasn't there to withdraw a pension. She was there because the letters on her desk at corporate headquarters had become too frequent to ignore. Reports of client filtering and classist behavior at this flagship branch had reached her ears. As the founder and CEO of the Evergreen Group, she believed every cent entrusted to her bank was a sacred bond. If her staff had forgotten that, she needed to see it for herself. Near the center of the lobby, Patricia, the branch manager, was leaning over a mahogany desk, her face lit with a sycophantic glow. She was laughing loudly at a joke told by an arrogant man in an expensive tailored suit, a wealthy client who was clearly enjoying the undivided attention. Patricia was the picture of corporate perfection, with a sharp blazer, manicured nails, and an expression of profound boredom whenever she glanced at the line of regular customers waiting at the teller windows. Elena took her place in the queue, watching as Patricia ignored the line to personally walk the wealthy man to the door. When Patricia returned, she didn't look at the next person. She adjusted her glasses and began shuffling papers. Elena stepped forward, clearing her throat. "Excuse me, I'd like to check my account," she said, her voice steady. Patricia didn't look up. "There is a line, ma'am. Please wait your turn behind people who actually have important business to conduct." 10 minutes passed while Patricia checked her phone. When Elena finally reached the desk again, the manager sighed with theatrical exhaustion. "Listen," Patricia said, looking Elena up and down with disdain. "This is a premium wealth management branch. We don't handle small savings accounts or change jars here. There is a pawn shop 2 blocks down that might be more your speed. Are you sure you are in the right building?" Elena didn't flinch. She simply repeated her request. "I would like a balance inquiry, please. It shouldn't take more than a moment of your time." Patricia let out a harsh, mocking laugh that echoed through the lobby. "A balance inquiry? Looking at you, I would be surprised if you have enough for a bus ticket." "Tell you what," she said, leaning forward with a malicious glint. "Let's make this interesting. If you have a balance over $500 in this account, I will personally pay you double that amount out of my own pocket right here just to get you out of my sight." The lobby went quiet. Elena took a slow breath and reached into her old purse. "Is that a promise?" Elena asked. Patricia smirked. "Consider it a contract." Elena pulled out a card. It wasn't standard plastic. It was a heavy matte black titanium card with a small silver evergreen tree embossed in the corner. Patricia scoffed, grabbing it. "A toy card? Really?" She swiped it through her terminal with a flick of her wrist. Suddenly, the computer gave a sharp, high-pitched beep. The screen turned a deep, warning red. Patricia's smirk faltered as the terminal completely froze, displaying a security clearance code she had never seen in her banking career. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments exactly where you are watching. The terminal screen didn't just freeze, it transformed into something far more ominous. Aggressive crimson banners flashed across the monitor in a rhythmic, blindingly bright pattern, accompanied by a low, vibrating pulse from the speakers that seemed to hum through the floorboards. Patricia's fingers flew across the keyboard in a desperate attempt to override the lockout, but every stroke was met with a blunt, "Access denied" message. A dialog box appeared in the center of the display, reading, "Level 1 security breach, immediate headquarters notification sent." Sweat rolled down Patricia's temple, fueled by the conviction she was being targeted by a professional scammer. "What did you do?" Patricia hissed, her voice trembling with rage. She slammed the security button beneath her desk. Security! I need armed intervention immediately. We have a fraudulent actor attempting to bypass the mainframe with a counterfeit device. Block the exits. Within seconds, 2 heavy-set guards in charcoal uniforms moved toward Elena, their heavy boots thudding against the marble. Their hands rested on their holsters. The atmosphere in the lobby shifted to electric silence. Customers stepped back, their chairs scraping as they reached for their smartphones. A woman in a frayed coat cornered by armed guards at a premium bank was viral gold, and everyone wanted to record the drama. Among the chaos, a young woman named Sarah, a junior teller who had been watching with growing discomfort, stepped out from behind her counter. She didn't go to the guards. Instead, she grabbed a bottle of water and walked toward Elena. "Ma'am, please, stay calm," Sarah whispered, her voice a soft contrast to the mechanical alarms. She offered the water to Elena, her eyes full of genuine concern. "I am so sorry for this. This isn't how we treat people." Elena took the water, searching Sarah's face. "Why are you helping me, child? Your manager thinks I'm a dangerous criminal." Sarah shook her head. "It doesn't matter what you're wearing or what the computer says. Every person who walks through those doors is trusting us with their hard work. Every dollar represents hours of someone's life and their dreams. You deserve respect simply for being here." "I'm sorry Patricia has forgotten that." Patricia let out a sharp, mocking bark. "Don't waste your breath, Sarah. This lady is going to spend the night in a cell. Do you know what it means when the system flashes red? It means she's tried to hack the core accounts of the Evergreen Group. You're a thief." She turned back to the guards, pointing a finger at Elena. "Hold her. The regional director is on his way down. He'll want to see the face of the woman who dared to prank this institution. I hope your double payment bet still stands in your head. Because the only thing you're getting double of today is jail time." Elena remained perfectly still, a small, enigmatic smile on her lips. She didn't look like a woman facing arrest. She looked like a judge waiting for a verdict with unwavering composure. Patricia continued her tirade, fueled by the audience of wealthy clients who watched with smug satisfaction. Suddenly, a heavy chime echoed through the lobby. The private elevator, reserved for the board, slid open with a hiss. A man in an impeccably tailored Navy suit burst out. The regional director, a man known for his icy composure, looked like he had seen a ghost. He didn't just walk. He sprinted as if his life depended on reaching the lobby before the next heartbeat. He was clutching a tablet so tightly his knuckles were white. His eyes were wide, darting between the guards and the woman in the coat. "Out of the way!" he barked, sprinting across the floor. Patricia straightened her blazer, smiling. "Director, thank goodness, I caught her red-handed." She tried to use a skimming card. The regional director shoved her aside with a force that almost sent her to the ground. He stopped 3 feet from Elena, his tablet slipping from his hand and clattering onto the floor. "Mrs. Vance?" he stammered, his voice cracking with terror. "Mrs. Vance, why are you standing here, in the lobby, in those clothes?" The regional director's words hung in the lobby like a guillotine. Patricia stood frozen, her hand still raised to point an accusing finger, but her arm had gone limp. The regional director, a man named Mr. Sterling, who was usually known for his unwavering, icy composure, didn't even acknowledge her. He bowed his head so deeply his chin nearly touched his silk tie. "We received the Tier 1 emergency alert at headquarters, ma'am," he whispered, his voice trembling with terror. "I had no idea you were conducting a personal audit today. Allow me to escort you to the private suite." The silence was absolute. The wealthy client Patricia had been fawning over retreated into the shadows, suddenly feeling very small. The armed guards, realizing their mistake, stepped back and lowered their heads. Every eye in the bank was fixed on Elena Vance. She no longer looked like a common worker in a frayed coat. She looked like the formidable architect of a global empire who had chosen to walk among her subjects in disguise to see their true faces. Behind the desk, the terminal finished the high-level security override. The red flashing stopped. replaced by a deep gold interface reserved for the board. The numbers began to scroll across the monitor, endless zeros that danced in the light. It wasn't just a personal account, it was the master treasury access. The balance displayed was a figure so staggering that it exceeded the total valuation of the entire branch 10 times over. Elena turned her piercing gaze toward Patricia. The manager's face had drained of every drop of color. Her knees buckled, and she gripped the marble counter to keep from collapsing. Elena stepped closer, her voice calm. "You mentioned a contract, Patricia. A public promise to pay me double if my balance exceeded $500. My balance is currently several billion. Is your checkbook ready? Because in this bank, we value a person's word, and you were quite insistent on the terms of our wager." Elena didn't wait for a response. She turned to address the room, her voice carrying the weight of authority. "This institution was built on trust. We are the guardians of hard-earned dreams. Whether a customer brings in $5 or $5 million, they deserve dignity. A bank is not a country club for the elite. It is a pillar of the community. When you judge a person by the fabric of their coat, you fail our sacred mission. You haven't just insulted me, you've insulted every person who works to save for their family." She looked at the regional director. "Mr. Sterling, Patricia is to be terminated immediately for gross misconduct and discriminatory behavior. She is to be escorted from the building by the very security she called on me. She is never to hold a position within this group again." Patricia began to sob, but the guards took her by the arms and led her toward the exit. The heavy silence of the lobby was broken only by the sound of her heels clicking against the marble as she was led away. Elena then turned to Sarah, the junior teller still holding the water. Elena's expression softened. "Sarah, you were the only one who saw a human being instead of a balance sheet. Your empathy is our most valuable asset. As of this moment, you are the acting manager of this branch. Lead with the heart you showed me today." Sarah's eyes filled with tears of joy as she nodded. Elena Vance did not wait for the applause. She buttoned her old coat and walked toward the glass doors. The regional director scrambled to call for her limousine, but she waved him off. "I'll walk, Sterling. The air is much clearer out here." She stepped into the sunlight, disappearing into the crowd. The golden sign of the bank caught the light one last time as she walked away. Wealth is hidden in the heart, but arrogance is always on display. You never know whose life you are touching.